Hi and welcome along to the weekend roundup. We are back here on DR Sports to take a look at all of the games coming up on the weekend. We'll also be taking a little look at transfers as well. Joining me, we have Fuad, right? Big Tottenham fan, as you know, stoppage time and all the rest. From the Cock TV, big Liverpool fan, host of the Saturday Football Show, AGT. And back with us, he was not very well on Monday. I think he's been overwhelmed by the amount of signings.
Yes.
Right, so he got signing syndrome.
The dopamine don't even hit no more.
Dopamine.
And he's got a new trim.
A million levels up, right? But he is back, he's fit and he's well. Matisse is back in the building. Chelsea fan, as you can see. Matisse, great to have you back, man. You fully recovered now?
Yeah, I'm fully recovered. I was dead, man. Like I was drinking all sorts of teas, liquids, medicines, and
2 bottles with him there.
Yeah, so. Man. But the adrenaline rush is fully gone now. The Lavia here we go didn't even hit. You know what I mean? It was just like cool. What next?
Disgusting, really, isn't it?
I mean, listen, we were like, we wanted you on Monday.
I wanted to be. I was in the comments. I was in the comments trying to grill him. I wanted to be here.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah.
And by the way, I thought Chelsea played pretty well last week against Liverpool. That was a good, encouraging performance after what happened last year. Enzo playing really well, Enzo Fernandez, and the team looking to have a bit more attacking structure, etc. But now that you've added Caicedo and you're about to add Lavia as well, I mean, it's exciting times again at Stamford Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, that midfield is the dream. Like
LFC.
It is LFC, yeah, literally. I know it's you go from Jorginho, Kante to Cover, and you replace them in a year with all of them being, so young, high potential players. It's very much, it's like our little mini Real Madrid little transformation, obviously to a lower level, but it's still exciting for us. And we know now that when we play against teams, we're going to be able to dominate them. And Klopp's possession stats and Liverpool's possession stats that game were like the lowest, one of the fourth lowest we've seen from them in Klopp's entire reign. So, and that's our first game with Gallagher in midfield. So you saw the way Enzo played in that second half, man. I can't be nothing but excited with that midfield, 100%.
And of course, gazumped Liverpool on both deals. Gazumped them on Caicedo after, they came in with that late bid and they thought that they had it done. And then a player in Lavia that they've been chasing all summer, bid after bid after bid. Chelsea just come in, bang.
Yeah.
What is that saying now, right? What is it saying?
It's money.
Is it that Chelsea is now a more attractive place to go to than Anfield? No, this is a serious question. Is Stamford Bridge more attractive to a footballer now than Anfield?
I mean,
has it not always been?
Oh, relax yourself, man.
No, I mean,
by the way, we've still got a World Cup winner joining us this window. That's quite nice. Carry on.
Who's the club that we've seen?
This is payback.
Who is the club that we've seen break transfer records? Who's the club who we've seen go out and make those types of... Liverpool, for me, have never been a club to kind of go...
We know that, signings-wise, but if you're a player now, so you're a player, you're a Premier League player, you're at the top of your
Just
game.
seen Chelsea come 12th.
And you've got the option of Chelsea or Liverpool. Where are you going?
I think Chelsea, in all honesty. I'm looking at it. You look at the history-wise, you're kind of looking at Chelsea's history. It's not one to laugh at, let's be honest. No. And then living in London, you're probably going to earn more wages. Chelsea, let's be honest, so many times have shown that they can have one of their worst seasons and completely fall off. And then the very next year be competing for silverware. So for me, I would look at Chelsea and be like, yeah, I could probably get back there. Seeing Pochettino coming in, seeing that there's kind of a new culture change coming in, I could maybe be the face of that.
Yeah.
Enzo's come in and potentially I could partner with him. Yeah, I'm going. I can't lie to you.
Obviously, Klopp is more successful as a manager, but if you're talking about working with young players, you can't really say that Klopp is levels ahead of Pochettino.
No.
Pochettino's got a track record, but I think a lot.
Ask Fabio Carvalho.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of Liverpool fans are obviously like, you throw money at, which is fair enough. We have given them better personal terms. But when you also look at the logistics of it, we did the groundwork for Caicedo. You shouldn't have just expected before even talking to Caicedo and just throwing in a British record bid that he was going to just change his mind. It's not an automatic. But on Lavia wanted to go to Liverpool, but Liverpool were the ones that decided to turn and bid double on Caicedo in front of Lavia after failing to go 5 million more for Southampton's asking price. Lavia's going to sit there and say, you guys don't really want me. And Chelsea bid for me last summer. I've got Joe Shields there, who have gone from Man City, Southampton, and he's at Chelsea now. Why would I not agree personal terms with them? And then when you come back in for me as like the side piece, why would I now go back to you? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Liverpool just played that in the end, wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and mad, confident and cocky because I didn't know which way it was going to go. I honestly thought we might have screwed up as well.
But is it more attractive to go to Chelsea?
It's depending on the perspective. Liverpool are still a historical big club. I'm not going to disrespect
Still the
Liverpool,
most successful team in England.
But in terms of Chelsea, you can't now try and pretend like the last 20 years we haven't been one of, if not the most successful team in terms of winning trophies. And these young players have seen that. So you can't say, what we did in the 70s. It's not going to mean much to them. They didn't watch in the 70s that you guys were obliterating us. Do you know what I mean?
And 12th place finish doesn't undo
of course
all of that,
not.
as you
of course
say.
Not.
So
we won the Champions League a couple years ago.
Well, I think there's not this big gulf that people are pretending between Chelsea and Liverpool. I don't believe it's a straight option to just choose Chelsea over Liverpool when you consider, what you can get.
Lavia.
No,
and
it wasn't,
for Caicedo.
because he was very close to joining Liverpool, as Matisse just said. But the problem was that because Chelsea... let me finish. Because Chelsea were in so long for Caicedo, I understand your point on that. I don't think Liverpool... That's just not how we move in a transfer window, to go and do that in front of Lavia, who we've also been caught in as well. So I think Caicedo and the Chelsea stuff was always going to happen. And the Lavia stuff, I thought he was going to move to Liverpool. But he's right, we messed it up because of how we moved in this window, and Lavia's gone, right, well, I'll go to Chelsea as well then. But now I don't like this argument that of Liverpool have got no pull. We've just pulled in a World Cup winner for 35 million. We've just got Hungary's captain for 60 million. We're still capable of bringing in big players. We all know that Liverpool don't bring in an Mbappe, these kind of guys, because we make superstars. And I'd much rather be part of a team where Klopp is invested as me in a player. You've got that massive connection with the fan base up there. Still the most successful club.
All that's great, right? But Bellingham, Caicedo,
he always
now
wanted
Lavia.
to go to Madrid. Caicedo was always
hold on,
at Chelsea.
These are players.
But we did this on Monday. These are players where he's listed.
It is quite worrying, isn't it? Because that's 3 top players that you've gone for. These are players that you've gone in for. You wanted
public.
Bellingham, Caicedo, Lavia. All of them have turned you down.
I think what's more pressing for us at the minute is the fact that we've let go massive players instead of why haven't we gone and got a Bellingham? Why haven't we didn't plan for Henderson and Fabinho to both leave. Now
you've let go of Hendo, but you've got Endo.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a good signing.
Endo of Stuttgart.
Captain.
They're saying it's an Enzo Caicedo combination.
Yeah, who you're bringing in. He is. I was surprised to see he's 30.
He is. Again, surprising. But what
great
I don't want to
stats in the Bundesliga for playing in that sort of defensive midfield role, but not really the sort of player. I mean, listen, he could turn out to be a top player. Not really the sort of player that gets you excited like a Caicedo.
But what I don't want to do now is start writing this kid off before he's even played for Liverpool.
He's not a kid, he's a man.
Okay, but in Liverpool, you could be 50 and be called that kid's over there.
Fully grown,
he's still a kid to me.
But he's surprised though, 30.
That's the only thing that surprises me. I think when you actually break down his numbers and what he's achieved, it's a decent signing for 20 mil. It's not really to be sniffed at. But this is surely the first of 2 midfield signings that we now bring in. I don't believe that we are solely relying on him to come in and be our number 6 all season. We will go and buy another person. We know we've got the money there.
Maybe.
The Amrabat links have come back around again. We were linked with him in January. He's been linked with United, and now we might go back in for him. I'm hearing Gravenberch again linked with him, Decore from Palace. So there's still names floating around. But what I don't want to do is write this guy off before he's kicked a ball for Liverpool. It's his dream move. Like most people.
Well, it would be,
but
I don't want to kind of write this guy off before he's kicked a ball. And I think when you look at what he's achieved, it's an astute signing. But let's see what else we can go and get now. I don't want to say this is underwhelming, but it's something. And now we've got to go and get the real deal.
There has to be a sense of underwhelming to it.
Yeah, it must be.
It will be if we don't get anyone else.
What do you mean?
If we don't get anyone else, you look back and say that was a little bit underwhelming.
Whoever else you get is a drop-off from what you were
I don't think Decore is a massive drop-off if we go for him.
That kind of goes back to a little bit of what you were saying earlier, where you guys make players. That has always been kind of the Liverpool model. And I think as any top club, when you kind of start winning silver, when you start achieving big things, you want to push that next level. How do you do it with those big players? I think now Liverpool are at that point where it's like you want a Bellingham, a Caicedo to push you that next level. I don't think signing someone like an Endo, and let's say a Palhinha even, is now going to comfort Liverpool fans' appetite, if you like.
I think
after
Palhinha
seeing
would.
Missing out. Palhinha, you
Palhinha's a
think?
very good player. And check Doucouré was Crystal Palace's Player of the Year last
I
year.
think
We're
he's
linked with
quality
him.
personally,
23,
You're getting
5'11".
Getting quoted 80 million. Though.
That's the
Not
thing,
not
yeah.
according to Joe Walker, the Palace fan I had on my channel yesterday. He was
much?
saying 50 to 60 should do it. He wants to move, and this is the thing that we're forgetting about. All these players have turned down Liverpool, if you like, but we're actually looking at Endo, who's desperate to move to Liverpool, and Doucouré is essentially
But what
Saying
chosen
Endo-
the club as
wait,
well.
wait,
So
wait,
with,
like
so let me
Igalo
finish.
wanting the United move.
Yes, let me
Yeah,
finish.
Kind of like
with all
it's
due,
also gonna
with all
be-
due
yeah.
respect,
Alright, won't
AGT,
finish
right?
then.
I mean, Stuttgart or Liverpool. I mean, it's quite obvious where he's going to want to
Crystal
go.
Palace or Liverpool.
Crystal Palace or Liverpool. These are not.
You're not.
These are not major. Listen, and they could turn out to be because I've seen
let's
it.
give them a
I've
chance
seen
then.
it at
Let's
Arsenal.
not write
Listen,
them
we
off.
didn't get Mudryk. We bought Trossard, and he's been brilliant. So you never know.
And Isaac chose Newcastle over you, so we can do that all day if you want.
Well, no, Isaac. We didn't go in for Isaac. How
You
did he
follow
choose?
him around with his registration
we
plate
had
in
a,
London.
we had
Am
a.
I missing something?
No, hold on. Wait a minute, right?
No, because if you want to fire shots, I can fire them back.
That's
all good.
that's a blunt shot because
You were chasing Isaac around
Arsenal
London.
were having a look
That's
at
true.
Isaac, but they never made a bid for him. They never went in for him. You bid for Caicedo, you bid for Lavia, you bid for Bellingham. You can get none of them. There's a difference there.
But what I'm not going to do
we
is...
bid for Mudryk, we didn't get him. That's why I'm using Mudryk as an example. We put in a bid for Mudryk, Chelsea outbid us, but as it's turned out, this is where I'm offering you a bit of hope here. As it's turned out, right now, Trossard is performing a lot better than Mudryk, and we're very happy with what we've got. But so that's what I'm trying to say to you. That does offer you some hope. It's not always we all think of names at this time when it's transfers are all
shiny toys.
this name and that name. You never know. However, I think the Caicedo one, and I saw Lavia play last year. He was very good. These are good signings.
But
I think they would have made Liverpool better.
The thing is with Liverpool, right? How long are they going to keep going down this route of astute? Does Klopp not deserve some potential world-class talents? Because at the end of the day, how many titles are you going to pick up in the next 10 years going down this route with this model? You've picked up one, right? And you've missed out on two more just by the skin of your teeth with this model previously. But how much more stress, how much more, squeezing of the sponge do you want to do with Klopp and make his life more difficult than it needs to be by signing an Endo? Let's be honest, cool, maybe it's astute, whatever, but at the end of the day it wasn't your top target. We didn't hear about Endo once until you missed out on these two players. Klopp made it very clear he wanted a midfielder, he needs two, and you guys have fumbled the bag on those midfielders, and now you've come in with this astute signing. Is the astute signing going to be able to, in his first season, come up against the Casemiros, the Parties, the Rice, the Caicedos, the Rodris? Let's see. But
I'm not going to write anyone off before they've played
task.
for us, so...
Okay, some super chats coming in here. Arsenal Fever says, name 3 Chelsea players that gets into Man City's team. I saw Danny
think
Murphy
there is one.
sort of asking that the other day.
3 players.
Yeah.
Caicedo gets in the head of cover.
He doesn't get in his place where Rodri's going to play down it, kind of, innit?
No, I play him next to
Does
Rodri.
Cover play every game, or will he play every game for them?
Cover's played every game for them.
All right,
Because De
that's
Bruyne is injured, though.
Yeah, because De Bruyne's injured.
So he doesn't get ahead of De Bruyne
no,
or Rodri.
doesn't get ahead of them. No, not ahead of those two. Who
Silva.
else is in that midfield? Foden and
Foden and Silva.
Bernardo.
He doesn't get in front of them.
Bernardo's, yeah, maybe Bernardo. Bernardo's on the right wing, isn't he?
Well, it's going to be Foden or Bernardo because one of them's going to take the right.
Whilst
wing.
you're thinking about that, right, let's come back to it.
It ain't happening, bro. It's okay. They're all under 25. They're young. First season. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
International Association of... I like this guy. It's called International Association of
I saw this one, yeah.
Checkers. He says, AGT, we are watching. No Fugazi stats today.
Yeah, man. Big up. They've actually formed an association.
You know what?
They formed an association.
On these shows, it's always me getting the most.
Rattler says, guys, look at that signing. It's Liverpool's Endo. Sule Jr. says, Chelsea have officially made Liverpool look small.
I'm waiting for Chelsea to come
and
in
also
for a bid
Fever
for
says,
Endo.
who the is Endo? Liverpool are a joke.
Okay.
I don't think you can say that because, as I said, right, I've seen Arsenal get Plan B signings in that have turned out to be, I've been like, wow, great signing. So Zinchenko was not Arsenal's Plan A, right? Plan A was supposed to be Lisandro Martinez. We got in Zinchenko. Zinchenko was excellent for us. Trossard was not Plan A. He was Plan B. He's been A. So it's not all. It doesn't always work out. That sometimes as long as you've got a Plan B there, that player might end up coming in and hitting the ground running, and he could hit the ground running for Liverpool, and really be good. Actually, talking about hitting the ground running, what's happening with the stand, man?
We're in the mud so badly.
All the workmen have gone on strike on the stand as well. What's going on?
We're hearing that the company that have employed the labourers to work on the stadium to increase the capacity of the Anfield Road end have gone into administration. So what we're seeing now is videos of hundreds of workers this morning. I've just left Liverpool to get here, and I'm seeing, before I've left, at 9:15, all these lads walking out, throwing their hard hats on the floor. This is the same company that just did Fulham's extension. So I don't know what's happening. The FSG need to step in and get some builders on deck now. Mm-hmm. But then does that affect our transfers? And when does the stadium reopen fully? Because we heard October, now it'll probably be pushed back. So it's like every single day something happens which puts us back in the mud.
Probably went to get a builder to work on site, but found out he's working at Chelsea.
I can't wait for John Henry to complain about this.
When are you going to update your stadium, by the way? I was there last week. It's a mess.
I can't
falling
wait.
To pieces.
Well, John Henry was there, wasn't he? With his elbows out, complaining, moaning. Did you see what the update was from that? The Premier League have closed the loophole. Another loophole. What do you know?
Well, Gavin C says overspending, long contracts, 12th place. Todd B 100% says Gavin C. You are again putting these players on these long-term contracts. You
must win the league, by the way.
You could be storing up problems, for later on. I mean, it all looks brilliant now, but it kind of reminds you a bit of the Barcelona situation when they were buying up this and buying up that. Now look at them. Could Chelsea be storing up some serious problems in the future, especially if some of these don't work?
If Chelsea keep failing to qualify for Champions League, 100%, and if they also keep spending like this, 100%. So I'm not. Again, I said it before, but I'm not expecting us to keep doing that. We can't keep doing that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It literally can't work. And we have to qualify for Champions League. But that was the bare minimum before these two signings. I'm not even thinking about qualifying for Champions League. It's not an arrogance thing, but we just have to. We don't have Europe. We have one game a week. We have an opportunity to press from the front like we did against Liverpool on a consistent basis. We have the opportunity to dominate games in possession like we did in the second half. So there's no excuse for not making Champions League. We should be winning a cup, Champions League, trying to even win both cups. So for me, I'm just trying to be minimum knocking on the door really for the top teams. I think 80 points, top 3, trying to be in and amongst it. Maybe a little horse title race, but that should be what we aim for, 100%. Like, why not? No reason not to.
Customer Max says, this is the worst sporting director in Liverpool's history. At the end of the day, though, I have faith in Klopp, and I believe that we will still get top 4 despite this embarrassing transfer window. #FSG out. And a guy called himself Roman Abramovich says, if we can't get 3 players in the City team, why are rivals so desperate for us to challenge for the title? It's City who need to fight after all. And a Monkey Slayer says, if you could swap transfer windows apart from Chelsea with any club, who would you swap it with? Love the show, guys.
Maybe Aston Villa.
I think we've had a good transfer window, but it's devastating news about Yuri and Timber.
And he never got injured for Ajax, did he?
Yeah, and now he's probably out for the season.
Just on that sporting director, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Jorge Schmadtke, who used to be at... still ill.
Sound like you knew him there for a second. I was going to say, hold on, you got something to tell us.
He's only here for this transfer window. So that's Julian Ward, Michael Edwards. Those were the 2 guys that were bringing in the Thiagos, the Jotas, the Fabinhos, the Van Dijks, the Alissons, really making the spine of this team what it was. And now Jorge Schmadtke, his contract's up at the end of the summer. So then we're looking again. We still don't have a head of medical. Stadium's not finished. So the sporting director thing, it has to play a massive role in terms of why we're not getting the targets that we're after, because no one was saying this when we were going in for Van Dijk and everyone else wanted him. No one said this about Alisson, Fabinho, Jota, Thiago. So it's the sporting director who has to front up some of the blame. And actually, if this transfer works, fair play. We've he's overseen 2 release clauses activated for McAllister and Szoboszlai and going in and getting Endo if it works. But if it doesn't work, he will have to go down as the most unsuccessful sporting director that we've had.
What happened to the good old days of just managers saying, I want that player?
Phone call.
They go in
fancy
there.
it? Bosh.
Alex Ferguson comes over to your house, meets the mum and dad.
She makes him a cup of tea.
The good old days where the manager handled it. All these sporting directors now. It's his fault.
Have you seen some of the managers' talent ID out here in these streets?
Listen.
That's some questionable.
He literally just said, I have full faith in Klopp. Cool.
That's some questionable.
Have faith in his talent ID as well then.
Questionable
But
talent
Klopp's
ID.
obviously have to have signed that off. So he's obviously aware of him. He played really well for Japan.
In DM.
Potentially, he played in the World Cup for Japan. Was excellent there.
Listen, plays with a gum shield.
Of Stuttgart. He plays with a gum shield, so he's a dog.
Okay.
And I know he likes them.
I don't know if it'll be too soon for him to be in the team for Saturday.
Be in the squad,
You've
probably.
got Bournemouth at home.
Bournemouth at home at
Should be all right.
It's 9-0 last year, so hopefully we can get another one of them.
Yeah. So at least
real stat?
a game to
No, it wasn't.
Game
I was there.
a game to get yourself going. So that stand won't
Gets a new trim. He thinks he's sick.
What will happen then? That stand won't be open for the game.
Right now, it's way too early to tell you what's. No, sorry, for the Bournemouth game,
Yeah.
part of it will be open. Yeah, a smaller capacity. I think just the away end and then the first half of that, the Liverpool fans on the Anfield Road. But above that, the 7,000 new seats. It's way too early to tell you how far that's gonna go along the line. We're just getting a bit of breaking news, guys.
Okay.
From Mr. Ornstein, who has retweeted a tweet from Steve Parish, who says, I'm absolutely delighted to announce that Olise has committed his future to Crystal Palace and this afternoon signed a new 4-year deal with the club.
Where's this? Ornstein.
Okay.
See? It's not nice, is it, fella? Hey?
I'm not gonna lie to you. After what happened this week, I'm actually calm.
Fair play.
So are we going to give him a
Hold
rejected
on.
Chelsea?
It's not the first time he's
Hold
done that.
on.
What's this?
Chelsea Pool hype. Hey,
Parish. He all comes
Michael
back around.
Olise said he'd rather stay. So what? Palace got more pool than Chelsea. What?
Yeah.
Robbie,
Yes, boys.
arrest him.
It's not a problem.
No, to be fair, I think that's a good move in
Why are you
terms
crying?
for his development. I think
I'm good.
Back end of last season, he
Shout out
just
to
started to
him,
kind
man.
of break out. I think for the first time for Palace, he's just coming back from a big injury. Chelsea are going through a big turnover
injured
of
right now.
players.
So it wasn't actually
it's-
my preference.
I actually think it's very good for him. And I think had he come to you guys, there would have been that expectation of seeing how good he is.
Yeah.
He must deliver kind of now.
Yeah.
Spend another year at Palace, man.
New 4-year deal at Crystal
cool.
Palace and Michael
It's definitely got a
Olise.
clause in there.
Definitely be some sort of clause in there.
And the fee's gone up.
Top Bowl
Yeah.
is probably exploring that
That
clause
ain't 30
right now.
that ain't 35 million no more.
Don't worry, we can get around there with a 20-year contract.
How
you know what
about
I mean?
that for facts? Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm
Hold
actually
that
good
one.
because he's injured at the moment, and my preference was someone that was available right now. So I'm actually good. I got Lavia and Caicedo
Sound
this
a bit
week.
like me there.
I got Lavia and Caicedo this week. You can't ruin my mood. You actually can't. Do you understand?
We're here to
my
have a
whole
meal.
midfield is changed, brother, for life. My life changed,
Good
bro.
for you, man.
Life
I'm
changed.
proud for you. Yeah.
All right, let's get into some fixtures. One of the big games this weekend. There's a couple of really standout games. Tottenham versus Manchester United. Now, that should be a great game. Tottenham looks a lot better than they did last season in a game against Brentford. Played some really, really good stuff. Even though they didn't win the game, it was a 2-2 draw in the end. Manchester United on the other hand, I watched their game on Monday. They got absolutely taken apart by Wolves. Wolves should have won that game.
Bro, Wolves
easily.
slumped Manchester
And
United
then
in that
obviously a very controversial, it was bordering on corruption, right? That decision not to award Wolves a penalty right at the end of the game. But United will be a bit stung by that. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see what sort of United come out. I kind of feel that Manchester United are always better on the counter-attack. And playing a team like Wolves,
You're
where
inviting
they're
pressure
expected
on,
to be
though.
on the front foot,
Yeah.
but they're better on the counter-attack. Will Spurs' styles, maybe the new style, suit Man United a bit more? I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting game, this one. Really intriguing.
Could be a possibility, but I think being Ange's first home game, I think we saw a lot of character from the team in the first game, in my opinion. I think going down normally 2 goals after scoring the first, we usually capitulate after that. We showed that a couple of times last season, but the reaction, the way we dominated after we drew 2-2 as well, even throughout pre-season, how Ange has been talking, how the team has been playing, I think a lot of Spurs fans have been kind of optimistic and positive going into the season, even though you think, hold on, you've lost Harry Kane, you've got a new manager coming in, you've got no sporting director, but there's lots of positives, to be fair, and a lot of the kind of players we've seen, there's a lot of bright spots. So I'm hoping, kind of coming in, first home game, there's a big atmosphere. I think players should be taking confidence from performing against, and I think previous managers under Jose and Conte, when we've played the big top six sides, it's always been on the counter, and I think the only team we've kind of really been able to capitalise consistently has been Man City. I think United have been one of the kind of tough teams where I remember they got Nuno sacked. Conte, they had an interesting game as well, a couple of games. But I think this is a good time to catch United. Early in the season, maybe, while they're still finding their feet. I think that midfield still hasn't gelled properly. Front line, they still don't know exactly who their best lineup is. Garnacho, is he going to turn up? Because I thought last game was one of his worst ones in a United shirt. Anthony, second season, are we going to see that rise again? So, personally, good time to play United at home. Good atmosphere, I'm expecting. Good attacking football. And honestly, I'm going for a 2-1 win. I'm going for a 2-1 win.
What about you? What did you make of Manchester United? And what did you make of Tottenham last
Should not have won the game, United, man. Pure robbery for Wolves. And it showed with the response from the refereeing committee straight after. They were like, we got to hold our hands up. We got that one wrong. And it's like, that's nice, but that's no good to Wolves, who would have done very well to get that point. And to be honest, they deserve to. They probably deserve to win.
Of course, they deserve to win.
They played really well.
They did.
Even in the last stages of the game, they were creating so many opportunities, just couldn't quite find a way. And then you think that, okay, all of this has kind of led to a penalty now, which was a clear kind of almost hit into the face, right, from Onana, completely mistimed his punch, and still not given. It was so blatant. So Man United got very much scot-free there. And for Tottenham, listen, there's no pressure on them, especially after Kane left. There's no pressure. I think the only person there's pressure under is actually Richarlison. 60 million. That's not cheap change to Tottenham. You got one goal last season. I'm not expecting you to be a bit part player and make your little appearances off the bench. You need to be starting up front and banging in some goals. I think that's the only player that I'm looking at Tottenham. Son's obviously captain, but he's on his downturn. Richarlison's the one player I'm looking at Tottenham thinking you need to step up.
As well.
I was going to say he's one. I think
he's got to step up big time as well.
Came in, did really, really well, but last year he was a bit.
I remember this guy saying he was better than Luis Diaz when he joined last year.
Well, the first 6 months,
as
he just said. Well, Luis Diaz spent the whole of last year injured, so he hasn't really proven anything.
Kulusevski, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I was just about to say. But if you let me get a word,
needs to do better.
Form and injuries is probably why I would say last season we didn't see. I think 2 goals, 7 assists in the league. He still had, despite a bad season. But he's someone definitely alongside Richarlison. Step up. Now that Kane has gone, there's a big gap in that attack to kind of exploit numbers. We need players like Kulusevski to definitely contribute this year massively.
Yep. What have you made of the two? Manchester United, or is it too early to judge?
It might be too early. It might be, but I watched the game on Monday night. I thought Wolves, especially Matheus Cunha, the way he bodied the Butcher, sent him from an early bath, Pat Butcher settings, and then he bodied Casemiro, who I thought had an awful game as well. I've even heard people saying he's on a bit of a downward turn. Mason Mount, as we know, not his best game. I heard Fleck sticking up for him on TV. But I still think it's too early for Manchester United to say that they're going to be, off it. They've still got great players. They've still got a good squad. But this one, I've got a feeling about this one. I think this is Tottenham's. I think Tottenham come and do the business here. The question I've got for Fuad is, who's going to be your top goal scorer this year?
I think Son. I think I'm hoping and sooner rather than later realises, as Matisse was saying,
he's got to play through the middle though.
Yes, he's on the decline. That explosiveness, that 1v1 ability, that ability to take a man on, he doesn't have that in his locker anymore. But what he does have, he has good movement, he has good finishing. Put him in the central position where he can actually exploit that. I think now as well, you don't need your centre forward like we have in previous years, like Kane did,
to drop deep. Madison's right
Madison, chief creator.
And when Bentancur comes back,
lovely. You've got that whole trifecta. You've got Kulusevski out wide, can whip you in all the crosses you need. So for me, it's use Richarlison's energy and industry, if you like, out wide.
Make him a dirt cow.
Loose balls, 100%.
Just swap them. Son's the better finisher. Richarlison's going to go past people better.
I think that takes less pressure off both of them, because Richarlison now plays left wing. You don't expect those goals. You're just happy he's contributing to the team. He's putting out work. If Son is getting you a comfortable 17, 18 this season, I'll take that. I think he should be our top goal scorer in my opinion.
Okay, a couple more super chats here. Justin Credibles says, as a Man United fan, given our first 2 results last season against Brighton and Brentford, I would definitely take a dodgy win against Wolves. Sam Turner says, makes me laugh because it's United, it's a pen. Them fouls by keepers are never given. We should have had a pen for handball going off
Never given.
The Luton pen. The Wolves keeper clattered Anthony after he played the ball. I'm sorry, Sean. That was, it don't matter whether it's Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea or Luton. That is a penalty.
Yeah.
Blatant penalty. How they didn't get, and we've seen since, they've apologised. You know, they've apologised to Wolves, so everybody knew it was a penalty. Don't make excuses for it. Just take it. Listen, take the fortunate thing you got, but it was a penalty.
They know that they were outplayed.
Yeah.
They know that they got away with a penalty decision late on. It's not because you're Man United. It's because we saw what happened, and we'd say the same for any team.
Yeah,
you got lucky. Let's just call
very,
it what
very
it is.
lucky.
You got very
Extremely
lucky.
Garbo Staunton says, do people not realise that Casemiro moved to United for his retirement plan? Well, he had a good season last year. You can't say that. Cara Bitsy says some more bad news for Matisse.
Yeah.
Reece James hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Really?
Has he got a hamstring
we're
injury?
seeing
Is
this now.
that news?
We're
got
seeing
Malo
this now
Gusto,
online.
baby.
Chelsea captain Reece James has picked up a fresh hamstring injury due for scan later today.
Oh, that's not good.
We roll with the
Because
punches, man.
He played good in that
Malo
game.
Gusto, in you go.
I thought he was tired against Liverpool.
That's what I thought as well.
But
That's what was
he's got a
reported.
That's what
hamstring
they said.
injury.
Listen,
Trouser
I've seen
says
this hamstring injury.
Ed was left after saying that saying to sign Enzo for 15 million from River and Guimaraes for 10 million were rejected by the club. Augustus Waters says, I'm early but skip Sunday services. England's first World Cup final since 66 and they're probably going to win it. Enjoy it, embrace it. Nothing else matters this weekend. We will talk about that later on, the women making the World Cup final. Karabitsi says, let's hijack Kudos now that Olise is off.
Hijack FC, man.
And I see Chelsea signing Kudos now, says Kingsley. Kudos, of course, Mohamed Kudos from Ajax. So there could be more business, more 10-year, 20-year contracts by Chelsea, but we'll have to wait and see.
That's the one that makes a bit more sense.
This game here, I think, probably one of the biggest games of the weekend. Very intriguing to see how this one turns out. Manchester City versus Newcastle.
Great game to watch.
Newcastle got off to a brilliant start last week. Blitzed Aston Villa, who is a team that everybody's been talking up. 5-1 at home, but they are away from home. But this is a big test for them early in the season, away at the treble winners, and should I say they won another trophy last night. Even though I'll tell you what, I thought they were, Sevilla could have won that game if they had put their chances away.
They really could have.
But Man City versus Newcastle, Pep was moaning about this game, saying that why is it? I think he's got a good argument as well. 8 o'clock kickoff, so all right, it's a little later in the day, but it's still on a Saturday, and they've just played this game on the Wednesday, and it is at the start of the season. But yeah, Saturday, he's making excuses about it already, but this is going to be a good game, isn't it? Man City versus Newcastle. AGT, how do you see this going?
I think Newcastle could surprise a few people in this game. I think Vardiol didn't have the best performance last night. It was maybe at fault for not getting close enough to our...
I'm not sure he'll play though, innit? Diaz will be back.
Al-Nassri. Yeah, Diaz, but the £90 million sitting on the bench, defender. Surely he's got to play. I know.
They've had a player.
They've spent more on
70 million on sitting on the bench for the past 6
really
years.
Man City
for a
across
while
the
when
last
they signed.
5 years, and you can look this up, have spent more on defence than some countries spend on defence. And that's definitely true. Go to Costa Rica and ask how much. Anyway, I don't know, man. I've got a feeling. I've got that Robbie. I've got a feeling about this. That Newcastle could win. I think Isaac, what a player, by the way. Wilson coming off the bench when he gets a bit tired.
Always scores.
Gordon, Barnes. There's
Got a
loads
good
more.
team this year.
Loads.
Yeah.
Almiron.
Tonali.
Tonali was
They look like they're
fantastic.
going to
Bruno.
close the Lewis Hall deal as well. I think that's going to be a really, really good
Haven't they
signing.
just bought another left back in Livramento?
Liverpool's a right back. He's right-footed, but he can play
Right.
left. But he's definitely right side. So to have those two potentially, bombing forward as well,
depth, innit? Extra
but
depth.
extra energy. Lewis Hall was really good for us last year when he stepped in against United and City. He's only 18. I think they're going to close the deal for about 28,
it's
27
the perfect
million.
test for both teams. I feel like City seem to start their season slow,
yeah.
so this is almost like the
We know De Bruyne. either.
and no De
Out
Bruyne
for
with
4
them as
months.
well.
Yeah. And they
you
weren't
saw-
great against Sevilla.
Yeah, I was going to say you saw kind of their attack is just lacking a little bit of something. You feel like, but I don't know. Maybe they could get Doku in over the next week or two. See, that'll make a difference. But
they were linked to Olise as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they're another one linked to Olise. But I think for Newcastle as well, this is kind of the perfect chance to test themselves and get a game like this out of the way.
Good time to catch. I look at it as well. I would like to, you're catching him on the second game just after the Super Cup. It's a good time to catch City, isn't it? They've already played
6 days off.
City already played quite a few games. They've had the Community Shield.
Pre-season.
Yeah, and then they've had the Community Shield, they've had the Super Cup, they've had their game last week. So that,
De Bruyne injury.
De Bruyne injury as well. It might be a good time for Newcastle to catch them. I mean, going to be an interesting game, isn't it?
They smashed up Aston Villa. They were unbelievable. I watched them.
Yeah.
They clean sweeped. I was like, this is going to be an entertaining game.
I think this season they're definitely going unbeaten at home.
You think so?
I think at home they're going unbeaten.
Their home is a fortress.
I don't see anyone going there and taking a win.
Yeah.
Palace can. They've done it before.
You look at the
before,
Arsenal
this
did last
season,
year?
I don't think
this
so.
season-
This season, I feel like they've also got the depth that they showed on the weekend, where Isak comes off, Wilson comes on, scores. Gordon plays well, comes off, Barnes comes on, scores. So it's like, and as you said,
now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now it's and this is the incremental thing that Newcastle have been doing every window since the takeover. It's not gargantuan signings. We will bring in an Isak and a Tonali, but we'll slowly and incrementally just improve the squad window by window. And credit to them, man. We'll see how their depth is tested when the Champions League begins, I think, properly.
Yeah.
But now, while the Champions League's not here, take full advantage.
This is why they need to bag as many points as possible before that kicks
100%.
in. And last season, their defence was really strong as well. We go up against a City attack that's not fully clicking because it's not got its new signings yet. You're probably looking at Paqueta, Doku, because they don't really have any real depth. Last game against Sevilla, they only brought in Alvarez like the 83rd minute. He didn't bring on any other player. He only made one substitution. So that just goes to show you, though. But they needed another goal to kill the game, to win the game. It just goes to show you he doesn't really see much in that attack.
Why don't he just sell Calvin Phillips, man?
4 starts.
His misery. He's had four. He's won 4 trophies and he's had 4 starts.
Do you know what it is? You take him
Trophy
away
per
from the
start.
bench here, and it's literally City's academy on the bench. It's Oscar
But
Bob,
they
Jason
never
McAtee, Palmer.
played the guy, man. I mean, I feel so sorry for him.
I think
He's been injured most of the
Since he
time.
came back overweight.
He's not injured now, is he?
Since he came back overweight from the World Cup, I'm assuming that he hasn't seen eye to eye with Pep. But I agree with you. Sell him.
But he probably won't want to move. Like, if you've gone from Leeds to Man City, you're going to want to prove some sort of point. And if you leave City with 4 starts under your belt, that's a terrible
That's worse than
look.
Jack
Do you know
Rodwell,
who
man.
would have been a good signing for Liverpool
No.
in that midfield?
At this point, he'd
Not at
be
this
like a
point.
change
Too
of
injured.
type signing.
I mean,
We were linked with
City wouldn't sell him to Liverpool.
We were linked with him, but it wouldn't. It
You
was
can't
never
get.
gonna
The thing is
happen.
with Liverpool is
Never.
that you've already got quite a few players back there that you can't depend on for consistent fitness. So then adding Calvin Phillips to that is just like
would
another.
never make
It's
sense.
the Chamberlain
It's another
signing all over
liability.
again.
Yeah,
Chamberlain all over again.
Yeah.
All right,
Keita as well.
Chelsea play on Sunday. Big test for Chelsea, going away to West Ham. Always a spicy affair. West Ham, they got off to a winning start last week. They drew last week, didn't
Drew
they?
at Bournemouth.
Yeah, drew at Bournemouth
Yeah.
last week.
Good draw, to be
Great goal by Bowen in that game. West Ham versus Chelsea. This is going to be a good one. 4:30 kickoff.
West Ham are a total different proposition compared to last week now, with James Ward-Prowse in the midfield.
I just don't
They're
give away
looking
free
at
kicks.
Edson Alvarez as well.
Ward-Prowse.
He's gonna probably be
make his
involved.
debut.
So
Alvarez.
tough game that for Chelsea.
Yeah, just don't give away free kicks. Our midfield is much better than theirs. So I'm,
look at you now.
I shouldn't really. We got to win the game.
feeling himself all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
we got to win the game.
He just brushes aside.
If you're gonna spend 100 and how much do we spend on this midfield, guys?
400 mil?
Bro, Enzo.
800 mil in a year, isn't it?
No, just talking about midfield. Enzo,
100, 105, 110.
105,
yeah, Caicedo,
115,
Lavia.
65.
Bruv,
Come on, man.
you think I'm trying to get dominated by Ward-Prowse and Alvarez?
And if it happens, what
Are
you
you
doing?
mad?
And if it happens, what you doing?
In a Moyes team, when they don't even keep the ball on the ground anyway. Are you mad? Listen, don't give away no free kicks and all will be okay. You give away a free kick, you're finished. We need to go and win the game. Like, enough of last season. We can't be on that no more. I see the next 7 games, I want 21 points. So every time you ask me on this prediction show, win.
But they must.
We must.
They
win.
I like this.
7 games, 21 points. Until
you
we
know what
see you,
until
we see you after that.
That's not an easy place to go.
I know, but we need to
you
win.
know what it is?
You got to win those
Chelsea
games.
fans getting their mojo back as well, I think.
Yeah.
And I like to see this because the past year or so they were acting like, we'll just quietly build. Good.
Yeah, we need
I
to-
like
we need
this.
to beat
I like
West Ham,
this. More
100%.
confidence.
harder the
Yeah.
fall. That's what I'm going to say.
What do you think?
We will be there.
Underestimating West Ham?
I think he's right to be massively excited of all the shiny toys. But as you've seen in the past, brother, it doesn't always work like that. Money doesn't always equal success.
Well aware.
So if you lose a game,
that's why I said we didn't. That's why I didn't say we win the league.
Poor.
Yeah. I do think though you should. I mean, this is at Stamford Bridge.
No, it's at
the London Stadium.
Not always the easiest place to go.
It's tough.
I do know.
You would know.
I still fancy Chelsea to win from a pure quality aspect because personally I think that first half against Liverpool I think is kind of what Poch will look to play long term. High press, high energy, fullbacks bombing on as they have been for the past season.
But you know what? It's Moyes.
That's the other thing. Moyes is not going to give you that space, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, because Liverpool with their midfield three as well were almost, hey Enzo, go on, you can ball out. Yeah. Now you're going to have a different kind of opposition.
Different test.
Last season, Enzo played that ball to Felix, split their defence, nice little side foot, bottom corner. So that's what I'm expecting from Enzo. We didn't get Enzo to see a low block and be like, we're screwed. Enzo is the guy that's meant to unlock that with his passing. So we've got runners around him. Yeah, man, we need to be beating them.
Aston Villa at home after that very chastening first week for them. At home against Everton. Got a feel for Aston Villa. They've lost Tyrone Mings, probably out for them all season. They've also lost Buendia as well. But they've been making signings. And I thought Moussa Diaby was the one bright spot. I was so shocked, right, that more teams didn't go in for him. When you look at even City,
you guys as well.
I thought that we could. I mean, I guess the only thing would be, would he have been prepared to sort of be a number 2 to Saka?
Hey,
right?
Just sell him the dream of, hey, we will play you, don't worry, and then just bench him.
But listen, I'm surprised that City didn't go for him, but I'm surprised more teams in the Premier League didn't go for him. Started, he looked sharp last week.
Great finish.
And Villa's not going to be a place you're going to want to go to. That's going to be another hard away game this season. Villa at home, there'll be a great atmosphere. There'll be a little bit of a downer after last week, but they got Everton. You'd expect them to win.
This has to be a get-back game for them. This has to be we're going to show now why we spent all of that. We're going to show last week was just a blip, essentially. And as you said, even though they've got the Mings injury, the Buendia injury, the one thing they do actually have is depth in both those positions. I think Pau Torres has come in. He was on the bench last week. He'll probably start now. They've got Jacob Ramsey, who I think was previously injured as well.
Yeah, he wasn't in the team last week.
So many options. Tielemans, who's come in over the summer. So they've got options and cover. So I don't expect them to miss either one of those. But I'm expecting this week, Everton last week, I think they...
Very unlucky Everton not to win that game. They created
Fulham
many
and Bernd Leno.
Against Fulham. Bernd Leno, basically, it's Bernd Leno against the world. That was a smash and grab by Everton were very unlucky.
Yeah.
But we know Everton, they'll be a well-organised team under Sean Dyche. Don't underestimate them in that game either. You know what I mean? I remember watching them last season. What game was it where... They went away.
Arsenal at home.
Brighton 5-1.
No, not the Arsenal one. They went away. No, that was it. Brighton. They went away to Brighton.
They smashed them.
Yeah, and it was a masterclass in counter-attacking football.
I feel like that was a freak though.
That was
they
a
don't
freak.
score goals.
And this is like, there's not much expectations on Everton in this game. They're going away. Villa have made all the big signings, and following last week, there is definitely more pressure on Villa this week.
There's pressure actually on Everton as well because they lost their game last week at home. Lose this, that's 2 defeats in the first 2 games. That's not good for a team like Everton that, is probably going to struggle again this season. So they really do need to get a result. Fulham, who we just spoke about, they're at home against Brentford. Now, looking like they're going to be losing. Mitrovic probably won't play in this game. That's going to be a big miss for them. Up against Brentford, West London derby. I mean, it's a good game as well, isn't it? There's some good games this weekend.
This is going to be one of those weekends where we learn a lot about the teams. I know you shouldn't really look at the table until about 10 games in, but just on the Villa-Everton game, if Everton win that, massive boost for them. If Villa don't win that at home, the fans in the stadium, a lot of debuts at Villa Park in terms of home debuts, then the pressure cranks up on them. Yeah, some good games. Saturday football show is going to be a very, very good
Fulham
place to be.
versus Brentford will be a great game, and Wolves also, who looked very exciting, taking on Brighton. If they both play like how
that's a good game to watch as well.
If Wolves play like how they did against Man United and Brighton play like how we know they always play, that's going to be one to watch. So, I mean, teams now in the Premier League are becoming more attacking, aren't they? They're not just
Yeah.
I mean, a team like Wolves last week, they really impressed me the way they were just on the front foot.
I do feel like teams like Wolves and Everton, though, I'm still looking to who is going to get you consistent goals. You look at why Brentford and Fulham overperformed is Tony and Mitrovic. Obviously, their system and their overall team is very organised, but you've got to have somebody that's capable in the league of getting, double figures, minimum 12 Premier League goals. And I don't look at those teams and be able to pluck someone out and say, that guy is definitely going to give you goals. So I'm still fully expecting Brighton to go there and dominate and play their way and beat them, because they got João Pedro coming in. He looks really good. Ivan Ferguson's the next 200 million man most likely. Matoma as well. So they got a lot more attacking options that I've got faith in to say, okay, they're gonna be able to get some goals for that team.
Yep. Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United as well. Another good game. That's a Friday night game.
It is.
It's the early one, yeah.
Again, Sheffield United really need to get going. They lost their first game. When you lose that first game at home, it does put you under pressure all of a sudden, even with it just being the second game.
Yeah.
Forest, they lost, but people expected them to lose against Arsenal. But there was some, good pointers for them in that game as well. So
Langa and Awani.
Yeah, and Forest last season, the reason why they stayed up was their home form, isn't it? They're good at home.
That City ground is a fortress, as we almost say like a cliche, but they actually pretty much, I think, how many games did they lose last season at home?
They beat us, they beat you.
They beat us.
Yeah, there was a couple of big scalps they got
drew
there
with
anyway.
City
So
at home, they did well at home.
I'm expecting them to get...
They beat Chelsea at home, I think.
Everybody beat
points.
us.
I'm expecting, honestly, no disrespect to Sheffield, but I'm expecting Sheffield to have like a really bad season, and that's from just their financial situation,
their
squad building. Yeah.
They haven't bought anybody.
Nottingham Forest, I think, will have
really
a
be up
dip
for that.
this year.
Them and Luton.
Being a relegation scrap, this should be almost like a 6-pointer to them.
Yeah.
Luton's game against Burnley's been postponed, right? Because they still haven't finished their ground yet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised it's just been postponed.
But did we already know that? They were going to play their first few games away. So I thought
they were gonna just then switch it away to Burnley, but it's been postponed. And then, of course, on Monday night, Arsenal going away to Crystal Palace.
Last season's first game?
Last
Everybody was like,
first
whoa.
game.
And then you guys went in there and said,
Yeah, we played really well in that game. I don't know what to expect from Palace now, because no Zaha. It seems weird.
well, Olise will be
Palace
there.
without Zaha.
So-
Olise's still got, but he's injured.
Decore might be on his way.
Yeah, Eze's the main guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, I really like
Decore
Eze.
might be on his way to where?
No, he won't. No, he won't.
Calma.
Stop it, brother. Please. You do this to yourself all the time. Just please let it go.
Just come.
Let it go.
No, I won't be tweeting that
This
one
could
till
be
it's
the type
One
of game.
player won't be
done.
playing for Arsenal, very sadly. Jurriën Timber, who, for me, I've watched all the pre-season games of Arsenal. He's been
Best
a
signing
standout
so far.
player. Looked really, really good, and he's done his ACL. Going to be out for the whole season.
4 ACL injuries in pre-season.
Buendia,
Mings,
Timber, Militao at Real Madrid.
yeah, he's another one.
ACL, Courtois. It's really.
And in the women's game, how many ACLs are we seeing as well?
I was saying on we did a show on AFTV, and I was saying that I remember speaking to Beth Mead from the Arsenal ladies in England, of course. That was like about 3-4 months ago. We did an event, and me and her were speaking on it. And I said to her, at that stage she'd already been out for about 5 months.
Yeah.
I said to her, will you be back in time for the World Cup? She said no.
No,
It's an injury,
7
that
to 9
ACL.
months.
I mean,
Williamson
like
had the
7 to
same
9
one, right?
months.
Yeah.
It's like
Leah Williamson.
it's a very long. Some people might come back a bit earlier. She's still not back, by the way.
No.
Proteas got it
She's
as
still
well,
not
didn't
back.
she?
So,
Has anybody
yeah.
spoken on why this is happening? Like why this?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's more games, and we've been complaining about that for ages. Obviously, the World Cup last year, tougher schedule on the players. Now we've got the extra minutes added on top, but that's meant to obviously keep the ball in play. But has anybody? I don't know if anyone's spoken on why there's more. There seems to be so many more ACL
Remember in
injuries.
06 when everyone had the metatarsal?
Yeah.
It was
Is it that
Beckham,
we're
Rooney,
just-
Gerrard all got it.
Yeah, is it one of them things we're just a bit more aware of it now? I mean, there's definitely a thing to be said in the women's game. They're
Yeah.
saying that, there's so many, like Arsenal last season, their 2 best players, Beth Mead and Miedemar, both got ACLs immediately at the start of the season, which kept them out for the whole season. And they were sort of, there's a lot of women players that, Leah Williamson as well.
Didn't Williamson come out and talk about the boots, how they're actually
they're saying that
boots,
because obviously women are built a little bit different to men and their hips, etc. And they're saying that, maybe because the boots are designed for men, that's causing women to have more ACL injuries. I mean, they're still doing research on it, but certainly we're going to be missing out on some top players. I mean, it's a big blow to Arsenal.
Yeah,
because Timber was looking really. I feel for him. You get that big move, you come to Arsenal, and then bang. And then he's not to forget as well that he's one of the Netherlands' main players as well.
Euros next summer.
And the Euros next summer probably touch and go if he'll even be in that.
Remember, even at the last Euros, though, we were saying there was loads of ACL injuries around that time. I remember Spinazzola, there was so many of them, and people were saying, even then, oh, what's happening? I think every once in a while it kind of happens when a bunch of injuries kind of happen all around the same time. We all start thinking something. I think, obviously, you can always say the travelling in pre-season doesn't help. Some of the artificial pitches they play on, the boots, you could say. There's so many kind of variety of reasons, and variables. I don't think there's kind of like one thing you can pin it down to.
Odegaard's got an ankle injury as well, people are saying as well in the chat.
I didn't hear that one.
Football's a physical sport, man. It's part and parcel of the game. Injuries are part and parcel of the game.
But it's a big game for Arsenal on Monday. They got off to a winning start last week. Looked good in the first half, not so good in the second half, sort of looked tired in the second half. So that's going to be an interesting game. But, let's get into some predictions. Let's start with that game. So Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. I'm going 2-0 to Arsenal. Where you going?
Palace at home?
Yep.
2-1 Palace.
You're such a Tottenham fan.
What? I can't give a prediction. Hey, I'm just being honest.
Okay.
Listen, has they got a plan for me?
Listen, I hear it.
Jordan Ayew, this is going to be the one game of the year he turns up for.
And Mateta, is it?
Jordan Ayew and Edward. He scored last week as well.
He scored last week, yeah.
Where you going?
I have to go. I still think Arsenal will do a job. I think I'll go 2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 to Arsenal. The Sunday games: West Ham versus Chelsea. Matisse at the London Stadium.
2-0 Chelsea.
Nil.
Sensible.
1-1.
Of course, you would say that.
2-1 Chelsea.
Got a funny feeling?
Robbie, I gave you a win. Come on now.
I know, but you know what it is?
Not how it works.
You know what it is, right? I liked how Chelsea played last week, but West Ham, they'll sit deep. It's their first game of the season at home. It's against Chelsea. That's always a heated game. They're going to be giving everything. They're going to be putting everything on the line.
Huh? 1-0 last year.
Last year everything was bad, so I'm not counting.
I'm going to go 1-1 as well. I'm going to go 1-1 in that game.
If we go off last year's results, we won't be winning any games.
Manchester City versus Newcastle, AGT.
Wow. Man City, Newcastle. Listen, at home you'd be silly to bet against City, but if there's one team right now in the Premier League that I could handpick to go there and give them a real headache, it's Newcastle. So I'm going to go 3-2 City.
I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm kind of stuck between the two. I'm kind of stuck between the two. Give it to me! I was thinking 3-1 maybe, and then I was like, it could be a draw as well. I'll go 2-0 City.
2-0?
I'm going Matisse. I'm going 1-1, man. I think this is a perfect time to catch.
I don't know this game. It could go anyway.
That defence was exposed against Sevilla.
I know they'll bring back Diaz.
Yeah.
They'll bring back Stones.
Tonali and Bruno could cook in this one.
I don't know, man. I just
Tonali with them third-man runs.
I'm going 1-1. I'm going 1-1. Tottenham versus Manchester United.
2-1 Spurs. I've already gone that one.
2-1.
Yeah.
I'll go with my boy.
2-1 Tottenham?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-2 again.
2-2?
No, sorry, 2-1. What am I saying?
2-1
Yeah, 2-1 Tottenham.
Wow.
I'm going to go 2-1 United.
Okay.
United, you know what it is, right? It's not even hate, yeah? It's United. We're all writing them off after that first game, but they are a counter-attacking machine. And that's how they love to play.
But doesn't that mean that you invite pressure on?
It does, but I just feel
that's a tough one to call.
I just feel that when you watch Man United play, right, when they play against teams they're expected to beat and their fans expect them to be on the front foot.
Yeah.
They're never as good. But when they play against sort of like a team now that everyone's expecting toe to toe, but they'll sit in a bit, get that ball out to Rashford, you know what I mean, and quick players.
I thought
The
Actually,
only thing I'd question is,
No, you know,
are we clinical enough?
So I'm changing.
Yeah,
I'm changing. I'm
hope.
going to a draw. I'm going 1-1 draw. Because it is your first game of the season. You're at home. Your fans. 1-1.
I can't decide.
1-1. It's a hard
2
one.
on Tottenham.
Wolves versus Brighton.
I think Brighton
3-1 Brighton.
I'm going 1-1 draw this one.
3-1 away win for Brighton, which would actually be super unfair on Wolves because of how they played at United. But again, they're at home, so can they pull something out of the bag? But you just look at Brighton's quality. They're like it's like you can shoot them in the face with a shotgun and they just keep getting up.
Where you going?
3-1 Brighton, I think.
Well, let me go controversial, man. Let me go for Wolves, man. I was so impressed with them the other night. 1-0, because they ain't going to be scoring no abundance of goals. That's the problem with them. They don't score. But I'm going to go 1-0 to Wolves. Liverpool versus Bournemouth.
I've gone
9-0?
4-1 to Liverpool on this one.
4-1.
Ooh.
Salah?
Yeah. I
But
think Nunes will. I think Nunes probably starts this one. Diaz earns his place after the Chelsea.
No way he's
performance.
dropping Salah, I know that.
No, but just in general, why would you ever drop Salah? Just in general. But up front, I think there's a change from Jota to Nunes at home. I'd like to see Gakpo maybe not play in midfield. I'm hearing that Curtis Jones has maybe got a slight ankle injury. So do you play Harvey? Does Endo play any part in this one? I'm not too sure. But I'm going to go with a fairly convincing win over Bournemouth.
Matisse?
I'll go 3-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool.
That's on the Saturday football show. So if you want to see me in the mud, potentially.
No, 3-0 Liverpool, I think, as well. Fulham versus Brentford.
West London derby. Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Proper West London derby.
Yeah, 1-1 feisty game.
2-2. I agree.
I don't think there's enough goals in Fulham for 2.
We will see.
Vinicius.
1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go Brentford 2-1. 2-1 to Brentford. And then the Friday night game, Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United.
2-0 Forest.
Yeah, I think Forest will win this. I'm going to go 2-1 Forest.
I got 1-0 Forest.
1-0 Forest?
I won ye.
Yeah. 3-1 Forest. That Awoniyi, by the way, I think he's better than Forrest. I think no disrespect to Forrest. I think that guy can play high level, man.
Really?
You know, every couple of years, though, you get that kind of mid-table striker who
I want to give him. Let's see the
I
standard.
like
almost.
him.
Ivan told me he's recently become
We need to see more of him this season.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yakubu.
But I'm telling you, he's a handful, man. He's a big, strong, quick, and a decent finisher.
Should be able to slap if he can slap in 15 goals.
Yeah,
maybe 10.
He'll get a big move for sure.
Final game I want us to predict is the big one on Sunday, 11 o'clock kickoff. Spain taking on England, the Women's World Cup final. Congratulations going out to England. Watched the game the other day. Fantastic performance by the England women's team. We've been covering all of the games here on DR Sport, and we're going to be doing a watch along to that game as well. So we've covered all of England's games, and Alessia Russo with a great finish in the game. Lauren Hemp was brilliant as well. It was just a great performance. It was a great game. I don't know if you saw Sam Kerr's goal.
Great finish.
She's so good.
You know, that was a fantastic screamer.
Ridiculous.
Might sign her to the
She was injured at the start of the tournament.
Yeah. And there's been some great levels. Lauren James, actually, she did that stamp. She's eligible to play in the final.
It's my baller right there.
Would you bring her back? Because that's the thing.
Listen, I need one of the James playing. You know what I'm saying?
That's a Ballon d'Or contender right there, man. Bring her back.
It's interesting if they'll bring her back because they played so well without her. Last 2 games.
Yeah, but look what happened when she didn't play in the first game.
And then
when she came in, that's...
Yeah, but the last 2 games when she's been missing, they've looked very, very good.
She brings a little something different, in my opinion. Listen, I can hear it. Maybe stick with the recipe that's been working. Bring her off the bench, but I think that type of quality you don't want to.
Such a shame for her that she's done that, because now if they don't win this final, that's what her tournament will be remembered for.
Well, she
has an opportunity to impact it, though. Yeah, so
play a part.
You know, now it's in her control. There shouldn't really be any regrets. I think if she had missed the final, then 100%
I think she's very lucky not to get more than 2 games. I think they were very lenient.
One game she got?
2 games.
2 games.
So she's missed 2.
But it was a definite, deliberate stamp on the back. I think she's lucky she can get more than that.
Really,
but she is eligible for the final. It's going to be Spain, by the way, a very good team. Bit like the men's team in Spain, where they just ticky-tacky, pass the ball around.
The Barcelona women's team is meant to be ridiculous.
He's an unbelievable player. It's going to be Pateas. It's going to be a great final. Really, really looking forward to it. Let's get your predictions. Fuad, Spain versus England, Women's World Cup final.
2-1. Spain.
Yeah.
Spain.
It ain't coming home.
He's a hater, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen.
I saw him on the Arsenal result. Now look, he's on it
Nigeria.
again. All right. Okay.
I think England win it on pens.
Okay. England on penalties.
I just know the Barcelona women's team is unreal. I know that. So I'm going in
Lucy
thinking,
Bronze plays for him, though. She plays for England.
Yeah, but I just know. I don't know. I'm getting bad vibes. Let's see.
England winning World Cups. Don't kill me.
I actually do think Spain might actually.
Spain. Listen, it's
I just got a feeling, man. I'm sorry. I just got a feeling. I'm sorry. I got a feeling.
These haters.
I'm not. I love it for them to do it.
I'm going to report both of them to Nigel
It'd be nice.
Farage.
It'd be nice if England did it. I'd enjoy it. I'd enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm going to report the 2 years to Nigel Farage.
Oh my God.
Listen, for me, it's coming home, yeah? It's coming home.
Nigel Farage.
They won the Euros, England. They won the Euros. Actually, both teams is the first time they've reached a World Cup final for both of them. I've just got a feeling for England. What they've done, England, is after the tournament has gone on, they've got better and better with each game. I was really impressed with their performance against Australia under a lot of pressure. 80,000 fans in that stadium. They got the job done. 3-1 winners, and I think they're going to win the final. I'm going for England winning. I think it'd be close. 2-1. 2-1. It's coming home.
And that was all.
Home.
That was all she wrote. That was all she wrote.
All right. Let's finish off with some of these super chats there. Roman Abramovich says, laughing at players getting injured is just shameful. I don't know who was doing that, but
none of us were laughing.
None of us
Must
were
be talking
laughing.
about the chat, probably.
Oh, maybe in the chat. Okay. Yeah. Would you rather the Premier League or win the Carabao Cup? Well, I think that's very obvious. I don't know. A asked that. Hussam says, please upload the show to one of the podcast apps. Okay, let's make sure we do that. Bilal says, the way Fuad talks about football, he makes Neville and Carragher look like geniuses.
I thought he was going to compliment you.
I was ready for something different there.
I thought he was going to compliment you.
Bilal.
And us in the first half.
I think his knowledge is pretty
He had me in the first half.
Half when he comes to Spurs and he gets carried away. You know?
Hey, listen.
Mastermind put them stocks down, bro.
RY2696 says, happy
all good.
birthday to Thierry Henry, and International Association of the Fact Checkers are back again. Says AGT is walking on thin ice. Investigations are ongoing.
Did he get something wrong again? No way did he get something wrong again.
We'll see something in the comments after the show.
I can't catch a break with this guy.
Did he say something wrong again? Oh my days.
Anyway, we've come to the end of the show today. Thank you. Been over 6,000 of you here watching live. Really, really big thanks for that. So keep it. Remember, we'll be back on Monday with the weekend roundup. Big up to Fuad, big up to AGT, big up to Matisse, and also to you guys out there. Absolutely love doing this show. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also, this weekend, the Saturday football show hosted by AGT. Make sure you check it out. Always a fun show. It's a great panel on there. And then on Sunday, we've got the Women's World Cup final. England versus Spain. Can England bring it home? We haven't invited Fuad. He's not invited to it, right? Yeah, he's not, right?
Listen, Saturday though. Hey, United v Spurs. There will be a watch along for that. I'll be there.
The Saturday football show as well.
Yes.
There will be a watch
United versus
along after Saturday football.
Watch along. You could see his tears there on the day.
We will be
right?
there.
Right, so make sure you check that out. Right, so big weekend there on DR Sports. Make sure you check it out. And of course, we'll be back on Monday with the weekend roundup. Thanks for watching and have yourself a great weekend.
Peace.